Hey everyone, it's Lapata Peak back with another video with some products from the Silver Shield, or the Golden State Mint. And this was a series that came out, I believe it was during the summer of 2018, just after Bitcoin's rise to almost $20,000 in December of 2017. But Chris Dwayne does not have a very good view or outlook of cryptocurrencies in general. My view is I'm still kind of on the fence. I really don't know where to stand at this time. So I'll just kind of make my own opinions of cryptocurrency, just known right here. I don't think it's a bad thing. I do think it's interesting. I think the concept of the blockchain is probably where we're going in the future. Um, so there's that part of it that I do like. The downside of the blockchain, and Chris Dwayne does point this out in many of his videos, is that it is open source. So essentially, anybody can make a new cryptocurrency and just kind of put it out there and start selling it. The biggest downside to cryptocurrency, and this is where I agree with Chris Dwayne, is that there is nothing backing cryptocurrency. It's essentially, I don't look at it any differently than fiat money. It's only valuable because people believe it is, and there's nothing, there's no hard asset that's backing it. Now that can change. There could be a day when a cryptocurrency, whether it's sovereign or government backed, that is backed by a hard asset like oil or even gold or silver. I mean, it could be anything. It could be coffee beans or cotton or wheat. I mean, anything that is always going to be needed or used by human beings. If they ever come out with a cryptocurrency, then that is something that I can get behind. And kind of how the dollar was backed by gold, up until the end of Bretton Woods in 1971, had a 40% backing by gold, and then prior to 1933, it was 100% backed by gold. So, that is something that I think we, as a society, we will end up having to go to, because I do believe that the fiat system will ultimately collapse in on itself. It is, just a continually running Ponzi scheme that is only able to keep going because the Fed prints money. So, in that regard, cryptocurrencies are very similar to fiat money. The people who are really into cryptocurrencies, they'll make the argument that, hey, it's decentralized, there's only a certain amount of it, so it is like gold in that regard, where you can't just keep printing it. But kind of the counter argument to that is here, for example, we have Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Cash cryptocurrency. So these are both Bitcoin, but this is what it was called, a fork or a hard fork, the Bitcoin Cash. There's really no limit to the number of forks that could be done in a cryptocurrency. So in that regard, cryptocurrency may be more like fiat money, where it could just be, created into, the point where it's not worth anything. So there's that. There's also and I don't really hear this too much, but my perspective, the one thing that really keeps me away from buying any cryptocurrency is the fact that if electricity or the internet is not working, you can't access your money. I mean, I understand that there's like cold wallets and things like that can keep it safe, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can sell it or use it as a medium of exchange, which is also something that cryptocurrency advocates will say, that you can use it as a measure of exchange, where gold and silver, it's not really that practical. One argument from the cryptocurrency side is that it's a lot more transportable than actual precious metal is. If I've got, let's even just say like $2,000 worth of silver, today's prices is about 7 to 8 pounds. Where you pile that up, and you get a few more $1,000s worth of silver, and now you've got something pretty heavy, and it's not something that you really want to be lugging down the street or in your car even, if it gets to a certain point. Whereas if you just throw it on your jump drive or your cold wallet, you're kind of good to go, and you can pretty much get it anywhere. But like kind of is coming back to that full circle. If you can't get it through, if you don't have a computer, if you don't have internet access, if you don't have electricity, it's pretty much worthless. So those are kind of the competing arguments. And as far as the centralization, I've spent some time working in the financial regulation career field, and a lot if there's a lot of systems and programs or companies such as Coinbase, where I will tell you that is very much regulated and is very much centralized. Anything that is going through the internet, I don't really care how many VPNs, I don't care how many, any type of shell websites or whatever, it can be traced back to a certain place, by the right people, and the people that are working for the IRS or the government, they're going to have those tools. So theoretically, yeah, maybe decentralized. Realistically, I kind of doubt it. But so there's, kind of some back and forth. I know it wasn't really succinct. These are all the lines for, these are all the line against. But with those, with that perspective that I have right now, I have not chosen to purchase any. However, one thing I will say, and one of the reasons that I do like these rounds here from the Silver Shield, is I do like the I don't know, the emblems or the logos for these different cryptocurrencies. I think they're they're interesting. And whoever came up with them or created them, my hat's off to them. So I'll just kind of start with the big boy with Bitcoin, and you'll if you read the the wording around, it's kind of Chris Dwayne's anti-Bitcoin message or anti-Litecoin or whatever cryptocurrency it is. This is the 1 ounce Bitcoin proof round. Looking at the date, I want to say it was 2018. Just verify that. Yep. So this is a couple of years old now. But I really do like the proof finish on all of these, and I do like the the Bitcoin logo, even if I don't own any. So this is just kind of the message here, is that it is the Ponzi scheme mentality, where you just take something that has nothing of value, you build up that perceived value, and then you actually sell it for something that's worth something. And that's kind of the whole cryptocurrency in a nutshell, not just Bitcoin. There is also the 2 ounce proof, which came out last year, I think in 2019. And I do like the size of these 2 ounce coins. You can just kind of zero in here, and you can just kind of see the size difference. It's actually looks a little bit more than twice the size. But I think the 2 ounce rounds are really the perfect, if you just want to look at it and just kind of appreciate looking at a round that is has a certain design on it. I just like the weight and the looks and the feel of these. And then just kind of as a comparison, they have the BU. So that the difference, obviously this is much less reflective, more matte finish, but still 1 ounce of silver nonetheless. And this was this year. So this came out, I want to say, in March of 2020. So kind of neat. You got one of each date that has come out. And I want to say that originally the Silver Shield company was going to come out with 2 ounce versions of all these. I don't know if that's still going to be the case or not, because I know they've kind of had some issues, as every mint has after the COVID-19, try to shut down the mints and shut down the mines and kind of tied up to the supply line. So maybe in a couple of years or maybe later this year, we'll see more of these come out. But you can find these, like I said in a previous video, these are unlimited, availability on eBay. They only make these for a week when they do make them. And they do have various mintages. This Bitcoin Cash one was only available to the Silver Shield group, and it had the lowest mintage. I want to say around only 400 of these are in existence, so you may pay a little bit more of a premium if you want this one. And this message is just kind of talking about how there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin unless you count the forks, which there's really no limit, as I said earlier. Here is the which one was this? Was this one? This is Ripple, I think. So this is the sign for Ripple, and it's kind of got that, another anti-Ripple message around the end of it. But I do kind of like this design as well. I don't know why they chose this kind of 3-leaf clover design for Ripple. Maybe somebody out there knows what it is. I haven't really done too much research on it, but I do think it is neat. Here is the Ethereum, which I believe is on the same blockchain as Bitcoin. I'm not a crypto expert, but I do think I remember reading that somewhere. This is a very interesting design. I think of all of them, this is my favorite. Just that 3D pyramid shape. But, you know, interesting. The last one of the crypto ones here is Litecoin. And I think Litecoin is kind of looked at the silver of cryptocurrency, where Bitcoin would be the gold of cryptocurrency. Silver is kind of more used as a medium of exchange among the common people, and Litecoin is kind of in that same regard as where Bitcoin is looked more maybe as a store of value by those advocating for cryptocurrency. Litecoin is looked as more of a medium of exchange. One thing that I will say about Litecoin, when Litecoin hit its top, it was around $50 or $60 per Litecoin, right around the time that Bitcoin hit its peak in December 2017. And I don't remember the guy's name, but whoever started Litecoin basically sold out at the top there, and I don't think it's ever regained that. And that kind of lays some more credence to the Ponzi scheme, pump and dump aspect that cryptocurrency may have. Where you have a guy that just started this in his basement and built it up into where somebody was willing to essentially pay $60 for a code, and he sold out all at the top essentially, and it's never regained that. So that kind of makes me think twice about getting into it as well. But I do know that there are a lot of people that do like Litecoin, and will use that as a medium of exchange. The people that are willing to take Litecoin as a medium of exchange, I don't hold anything against them. Hats off to you if that's what you're willing to take. But just understand the people that are going to buy it, there are certain risks that go with it. And then the last round of this series was actually just kind of a hat tip to silver, where it has silver's atomic weight and its number on the periodic table, 47. This is basically the message here. I'll just read it. The world's oldest, most used, undervalued, decentralized, and anonymous currency. And there's that's kind of the long and the short of it for me. There's nothing that I can get from cryptocurrency that I can't get from silver. The only thing is I was talking about the transportability, but I'm not in a position, I'm not wealthy enough to where I'm ever really gonna have to be worried about being able to move it. I'm not like the Hunt brothers who in the 70s and the 80s loaded up like airliners full of silver and had to fly it to Switzerland to make sure it wasn't able to be stolen or confiscated or whatever. I'm never going to have that much money. So for me, cryptocurrency really doesn't offer that. Where silver, is decentralized, it is anonymous. There's no way anybody could ever, tap into or track a transaction done in silver. Not that silver is used as a medium of exchange, but when we do, and I say when, we go to a medium of exchange where everything's electronic, there's not one anonymous purchase that's ever really going to be made. The government or anybody will be able to, find the source of the money that, where it originated. Some would say that's a good thing. The drug dealers will be, put out of business, and the money launderers and things like that. I don't know. I have to believe that people will find a way around those things, regardless of whatever, whatever measures they put into place. Drug dealers and people with money will find a way. Whereas if you just want to have an anonymous transaction and you're a private citizen, I think that is something that is kind of sacred. There is certain amounts of privacy that should always be valued. And I think, when it comes to the purchase, of goods or just trade in general, that we should have that ability to keep that done. So, when we do move away from cash, which I do see coming here in the future, right now cash is the last way to anonymously transact. And you'll even see people with the coronavirus, hey, we don't want cash because it's got germs on it. I hate to tell you, but there's been germs on cash for, a lot of years. So I don't really necessarily buy that. I think that that's a, kind of a just an excuse to kind of move towards the more digital realm. And in the stimulus packages that just passed here in the first quarter of 2020, there was an attempt to sneak some crypto currency creation as a sovereign at the sovereign level in that legislation. They didn't talk about it. They just kind of slipped it in there. And then once it got called out, they had to take it away because there was, they were getting some pushback on it. So look for that to come. Don't be surprised if, within the next year or 2 or 3 that this is the only way we can transact at a electronic level, whether it's a cryptocurrency or a sovereign digital currency. Expected to come here in the near future. So hope you guys like this video, like the coins, the commentary. If so, give me a comment. I'll try to respond if you have a question. But really appreciate the comments and the likes I've gotten so far. Hope you guys keep watching, and till then, this is La Plata Peak. Peace out. Have a good one.